Hey guys, this is Jati Jones here with Eric today. Hello, Eric.
Hey, Jen. Hey, guys.
Today we're going to be talking about the art of playful sexual communication. All right, we're going to talk about sexual communication and how important it is to be playful. Playful is a very central theme to being a seductive man. Now, before we begin, let me introduce Eric. So, who is Eric and why is he doing this webinar with me? The reason why is because Eric is a man who has developed himself to the point where he embodies this playful sexual presence. Eric is someone I've known for about 3 years now, and I met him personally in Vancouver, and he's someone who you can't ignore. He has a very powerful presence. He has a powerful, first of all, a powerful presence. You feel like, oh wow, there's a powerful man, a man who knows who he is, a man who knows what he wants, and a man who isn't afraid to go after what he wants. And also a man who has this constant raw sexual presence. So when Eric's in a room, you can feel like there's this badass sexual, the sexual badass is there, right? He's not a good boy. He's a naughty boy, and he's also very playful. He's very playful with women, and he also pushes boundaries and knows how to tease women, not in a way that makes them feel bad, but rather in a playful way that creates a lot of connection and excitement and attraction in them. And so Eric has actually been helping me coach my 12-week online program, the Man Transformation Experience. And inside our coaching program, Eric helps the guys develop this raw, masculine, sexual presence. He teaches them how to be more playful with women, how to flirt with women. And also in my live events, he has emerged as a very natural teacher. He's someone who just naturally wants to help a brother out because he was there, he was in the same position you were in, and now he's on the other side. And so he helps from the heart, and he's also coincidentally very good at helping support guys, helping them overcome their fears and so forth. So I don't want to make the introduction too long, but basically, Eric is someone who you can really, if there was someone I wanted to talk about how to have a powerful, raw, masculine, sex appeal, sexual presence, and a playful presence, it would be Eric. So that's why Eric is on the call. And so, what we're going to discuss today, you and I, Eric, is what does it mean to be sexual with women, and why is it important to be playfully sexual with women? And then later we're going to talk about, maybe how do you get over some fears? How do you, make yourself a powerful man and so forth. So let's start first with playfulness. So I know, Eric, you have a philosophy in life to go at things through a playful attitude. So maybe talk about what is this philosophy, why do you implement it in life, and then why is it very useful when it comes to interacting with women?
Right. Okay. Yeah. When I go about my life and my everyday interactions, the first thing I think of is being playful. I never take much serious. I'm always, I'm, I'm always in a playful mood. I don't see any reason to not take a joke. I don't see any reason to take things so serious. And so within my interactions, my day-to-day interactions, it helps me communicate better with women. And when I'm interacting, I treat almost everyone the same. When I see an old lady or an overweight lady or some guy that I bet I could relate with, that's what I'm doing. I'm always trying to interact and have a playful interaction. I can give you endless experiences that are just show fun. It's very lighthearted. I don't like to take things very serious. And
Why?
then in the
Why is it like? Why do you have this attitude of playfulness? Why not be serious in life? Why are you being playful?
because that's the attitude I like to have. It's I like to have fun. I want my life to be fun, and I have no reason to not have fun. And so, what's fun to me is interacting with people and having, just joking and very lighthearted, bubbly conversations. Nothing serious. I don't like to, look down on people or get angry with people. And I think I take people as they are, human beings, and just try to, you know, just have fun with it.
Okay, and so why is playfulness so important when it comes to flirting with women?
When I play with women, they that playful attitude is important to me, and important in talking to females is because they could relate to that. They don't it's doesn't come off the wrong way. It doesn't come off too serious. It doesn't come off as if I have uh, bad intentions. My intentions are pure. My intentions are to come across and let's have fun. Let's eventually hang out. Let's just we're here on Earth to enjoy each other's company. So if I make you smile, and it brightens my day, it makes me happy. And so when you do that to a woman, I think uh, it really leaves a mark on what kind of person you are, and it kind of lifts you in the point where they see you as an attractive man or attractive human being, and
Okay,
and naturally they gravitate towards you.
okay, so it's kind of so you mentioned intention. So you're going up to women, not to try to pick them up, but to leave them better than you found them, to make them smile, to make their day. Is that kind of your thought process? Is that what helps you be more playful?
Absolutely, I have no expectations when I speak to women. And if I feel like if you do cold approaches and you walk up to a woman and straight up ask her for her number, or ask her for, hey, what are you doing this weekend? It kind of just comes off. It comes off unnatural. It comes off as you want something from her. But if you come, if you're constantly playing with with a female or with a woman, it's a natural icebreaker. It's so much more natural to have fun. And so, yeah, I want to leave them better than I found them. And when I talk to them, if I get them to smile or laugh or kind of flirt with me or flirt back, or
Hmm.
just be a natural woman, have that experience of a womanness, it makes me happy.
Okay, okay, cool. Can you think of some like examples or stories of like when you just made a woman's day, like something you said or something you did that kind of just
Yeah, I can think back to a few years back already when I actually went to visit you in Vancouver. I'm thinking of what story I'm about to talk about, but there was this heavy set lady um, in the terminal on my flight there, and I just happened to walk across her, and I think I cracked a joke like I think she was pushing a wheelchair or someone in a wheelchair, and I just looked over and I said, "You want to race?" Or I said something like, "Hurry up," And that natural instinct just kind of like, "Oh, this guy, he's funny, he's cool, he's being playful, he sees me, instead of just being another her just doing her job. She's being seen, she's being recognized, and it really brightened her day. And we just, she just so happened to know another brother that was planning on being at that live event. And the next time he saw her, she remembered me, knew who I was, and brought me up to her and said, "Hey, I met this really cool guy, and he happened to know who you were." And not to confuse you, but there was a there was a there was a mutual person that we both knew, and she said something in the likes of, "That guy, he was a man. He was so friendly and fun, and he was just there. He seemed awesome. He seemed like a great guy." And that's how I interact. I try to interact with every woman that way, not the ones that I'm trying to pick up, but every single woman. And this one just happened to be an overweight woman that I don't find attractive, but you could relate to her and still see her and leave her better than she was. She before once I had that icebreaker with her, she started talking to me, and she was talking to me about her boyfriends, and we were talking about what kind of trip I was going on. She opened up like a flower. She wanted to sit there and talk to me, and it was just a positive interaction. And those interactions, it could be that simple. It could be something I just looked over at a lady and wanted to play, and it brightened her day.
Okay, very nice. So I love what you said there. It's like I just looked over at a lady and I wanted to play. Like you're looking at the whole thing as like an opportunity to have fun, an opportunity to play, not oh, let me go and do everything right over there and use this technique and then make this girl like me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's seduction is all about making women relax in your presence. It's also about making an impact. So what Erick is talking about is he makes an impact on women as he goes through his day. And a very important thing that you said, Erick, is like, you're not only doing this with the hot women, you're doing this with all women. So notice, guys, that there is a difference here. There's a philosophy. A man lives his philosophy 24/7. It's not a doing, it's a being. All right? So a celebrator of women and a player with women, whatever you want to say, like a man who loves to play with women, that's who Erick is. So it doesn't matter if it's, a tight little blonde or an overweight, older lady. He's showing up the same. He's showing up the same, and he's going in there with a gift. He's going in there giving something, not taking. And that's a huge distinction. So just to make this accessible, I want you to go back, like, just so the guys think like, oh, he was probably born like that or whatever. Let's go back a little bit and tell the guys like, hey, it hasn't always been like this, and kind of like, what was your journey to the point where you finally got?
Yeah. I've always been an admirer of women. I've always loved women. I can remember back to being 4 or 5 years old and having a crush on a little girl, and her having a crush on me, and me blowing it one way or another, whether it me being too obsessed or too overly drawn into that woman or a girl. And I've seen that play out with almost every single relationship up until a few years ago, where I would fall head over heels with a woman, and I would just be subject to being a little mummy in her arms, and I learned, it took me several years to learn that that's not what a woman wants. A woman wants a man. And so it took years and years of visualizing how a man should be, and years and years of practice, and years of I'm trying to think of a word of I've always looked, I've always
Observing.
Years and years of observing, and it took it's taken a lot of time to build that into my foundation, for that to be my natural instinct, is to not so much chase but to attract women. Um, and that's that's where my life has been. I haven't had somebody to give me the right advice. I've had to learn and study and experience all of these interactions on my own, and so it's taken a long time. It wasn't natural for me. It is natural to me now, but I honestly think it's just been 10 years of practice and practice and practice.
Yeah, yeah. So I just want you guys to hear that, because when you see Eric, or um, if you meet him in person, you could easily get the impression like, wow, this guy just born this way. Like he's always had it, because that's the impression he gives off, because he gives off a lot of power and a lot of, but he created himself, or recreated himself, or got in touch with that power, that sexuality, that playfulness, that confidence to go out there and be him and not apologize for who he is, and so forth. So for anyone watching right now thinking that, feeling a bit maybe hopeless or frustrated, or whatnot, um, this is learnable, this is achievable, with focus, dedication, and the right mentorship, the right, following the right path. You can do this. So I want you to talk a little bit about hard work, because there's one thing I know about you, Eric, is like you're just an all-round hard worker, self-made man. Nobody helped you out in your life. You basically, everything you have, the house you live in now, everything you have was blood, sweat, and tears. Like it was all you, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think it's no coincidence that you broke through and figured this woman thing out because of your work ethic. So maybe speak a little bit about what is required from men if they realistically want to, get to where they want in terms of effort, work required.
Yeah, that is one thing I'm not afraid of, is working hard. It's something I always I wake up. I can tell you my daily routine, and some people would be like, "Oh, I can't believe he does that." It's just one of those things. I wake up every morning. The first thing I do is I have a glass of water and I go to the gym. I work out for an hour and a half, and I come back home. I take a shower. I get ready for work. I'm on the phone all the time. So I've always had a strong work ethic, and whether it was anything I put myself into, um, I dedicated my life to it. So I can give you an example. I know we spoke that wrestling was a big part of my life, and wrestling did not did not come natural to me, but uh, there was one thing I always did, and that was just go to practice, and it was every day. And so I wrestled for 7 to 10 years, nonstop, and it was just an everyday thing. And so I put that same mentality in my work life today. I put that same mentality into my relationship with my girlfriend I have today. I put that same mentality into dating when I was trying to get better with women. I studied all of Jad's videos. I've followed him since 2011 or 12, and I've watched every video, and I studied it, and I applied it. And when I was dating women, or trying to get better with women, I would set up dates maybe 3 to 4 times a week. I would go out two to three nights a week, 2 nights a week, just trying to practice, see how I can get better. And that's basically what I became. It was just a natural thing. It
Yeah,
became natural over time.
very nice. I wrote down the sentence, just go to practice. Right? I mean, we've spoken about that before. It's like one thing that separated you. It's always something that is very simple and not fancy that separates, the champions from the rest. And yours is, you just went to practice every day, sick,
Yeah.
hurting, whatever. And so Yeah, I think a lot of guys um, really underestimate the amount of effort, time, and money it takes to get good with women and other things too. But one of the most common causes of failure, and I will say I've been a coach since 2011, and I was unofficially uh, before that, like from 2008. But let's just say from 2011 now to 2018, one overwhelming pattern that I see among guys that don't make it is the absence of effort. They really underestimate the task at hand. And so I want to give you guys an analogy of climbing a mountain. So I think everyone knows what K2 is. K2 or Mount Everest. Those are two of the notorious mountains where people die, right? So if you underestimate a mountain and you start climbing it, what's going to happen is halfway up or a quarter way up, or maybe once you reach the summit, you're going to get trapped. You're going to get hit by something you didn't expect. You're going to come, you're going to not going to have the right equipment, because you didn't plan accordingly. You underestimated the mountain. And so the mountain is going to kill you, right? So in life, the virtual mountain you're facing right now is getting good with women. And if you underestimate the task at hand, you're going to fail. You're going to become one of the statistics, and the statistics, sadly, are somewhere around 80 to 90% of the guys who watch these kinds of videos never make it. They end up saying, you know what, screw this, I give up. So if you want to not be a statistic, you need to correctly um, estimate what's required of you, and what's required of you is to invest time and money and focus, and do what you need to do. Basically, like you can't be lazy and get win at this game.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, Jed. And what I was just going to mention was, you know, I had a hard time getting through college, but the only way I got through it was I told myself there was no way out. It's either do it or don't. There was no in between. There was no, oh, I don't feel like it today. It was go, and there was no way that I was going to get sick, or there was no way that I was not going to show up to class. And that's how I got through college, and that's how I kind of get through my life and through jobs. Is there's no way out. And if you're climbing that mountain, quitting should not ever enter your mind, especially in this dating game. Is quitting doesn't it You'll get beat up. This is not easy, meeting women or finding a good woman. It took me 10 years of dating women, good ones, bad ones, horrible relationships, to finally find a good one, one that just, takes my breath away, or makes, I can just die happy. And it wasn't easy. I got my heart broken. That'll happen. You could get played. You could be let down. You could find out that women aren't as beautiful, aren't as beautiful as you originally thought. Whether they might have it looks wise, but what I'm looking for is a good woman. And if you give up finding the good woman, you're going to settle for something mediocre. And that's something I've never let myself do. I've always wanted the best. And in this life, of trying to find a good match, it's not easy. And you can't let yourself quit, or you can't let yourself take the easy road.
Wow, that was powerful. Yeah, yeah, that fits in perfectly. I love how perfectly that fits into the analogy. When you're climbing one of these mountains, there literally is no option to quit. You can't just be like halfway through, oh, you know what, this is too hard, and then what are you gonna do? Take an elevator? No, you climbed up, you gotta climb back down. Like there is no escape. And I can relate in terms of, for you, it was kind of college, like you really had no other choice. It's like with me, with the women, actually, I got to the point where, um, like sometimes I did like want to quit and, temporarily quit. And I'm like, you know what, just screw this. This is too hard, whatever. But every time I did step away from the game, I just, I just could not lay my head to rest at peace at night, knowing that I quit, that I didn't finish it, right? So in the end of the day, for me, it really was get this woman thing handled or die. Like there was nothing in between. And I think an important thing for you guys to do is to get present to how important this is to your life. I think a lot of people, the reason why they don't put enough importance into this and hence not put enough effort is because you're not stopping, you're not turning off your phones, you're not taking enough time to say, whoa, what am I doing with my life and where's my life leading? And if I don't do something about this, where am I going to end up in 10 years? And you're not getting present to how messed up your situation really is. If you've been, so many guys have been stuck, so many guys that follow me on YouTube, not the guys who get coaching, the guys who don't get coaching and who just follow my free stuff only, they've been stuck for like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? And it's like, bro, do you really believe that after being stuck for 5 years, you're gonna somehow watch a video and get unstuck? No, you gotta up your game. You gotta up the ante. You gotta up your investment. You gotta do something about this. You gotta put a stake in the ground and say, you know what? Enough. Let me do something about this now. And then you reach out, you get mentors, you go out and, what is it? Just go to practice every day, right? Do what you need to do. Don't let your life slip by. And if you're not fighting for your life, guess what? There's not a human on here, on the planet, that's going to fight for you.
Yep, very true.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about approaching women. So were you ever afraid of, walking up to women you didn't know?
Yeah, and and I'll say this, Jen, I've taken approaching out of my vocabulary 100%. I don't approach women anymore, or before I met my girlfriend, I don't approach them. I go about my life the same way that I go about it on a daily basis. And, I'm just a human being or a ball just bouncing, towards a direction and floating ideas off of people. So when I'm playing with the teller at the bank, when I'm playing with her, she could be cute and it's not me approaching her. It's just me being playful with her. So if I'm ever at a venue that has beautiful women, it's natural to me now where I'm just being playful and I'm there with either my friends or I'm there by myself and I'm just throwing things out. And so approaching, I've taken that out of my vocabulary altogether, and it's just been something that is me having fun. I don't like the cold approaches. It doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't feel natural to me to come up and ask a girl for a number. I feel like throwing out a compliment or throwing out a joke or throwing out something playful is so much more natural. And that's what I do. Uh, years in the past, before I had this idea or this mentality or this persona, um, um, I would sit in the corner in places, or I would be just a dead fish. And I just learned that was not getting me anywhere. It's not natural. It's not fun. And so, as long as I'm vibrant and I'm throwing off, positive energy, it's a natural attraction, and it's just play. It's so much easier. and that's how I attract women.
Okay, wow. So yeah, so it's a completely different mindset. So again,
Yeah.
it's just about it's not about standing back there and oh, what do I do? How do I? It's just about okay, this is me. I'm just being playful. Let me connect with some people, and then making yourself feel good and making people around you feel good.
Yeah. And I know I naturally right off the bat will find out whether if that's somebody I want to interact with or uh, be friends with, is because if I'm being completely playful, I'm coming across with no harm, not causing any harm to somebody, and they come and their first reactions like this is just right off the bat, I'm not interested, you
Mm.
know. And I've came across women that are that way, and I'm sorry, honey, you know, you might have that kind of attitude, but I'm not gonna chase you, or I'm not gonna put up with it. I'll move on to the next one. It's, I've came to that mentality. If you don't want to play, I'm not gonna play back. So
Very nice, very nice, and that's a great attitude to have because then you naturally filter out women who are not compatible with you and women that are not going to add value to your life.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
And in a way, you're automatically qualifying who you're going to let into your life. So that's also um, that's a very high status thing to do. Say, hey, if you wanna come into my reality, here are the rules, right?
yeah.
Very
I
nice.
I have rules, and I'm not sorry. You know, let's play. Let's not be negative.
So you're not sitting there adjusting yourself to women in a hope that they're going to like you. Instead, you're just showing up as Erick in the way that's fun for you, being the person you want to be, and then you're just take it or leave it. Here I am. I know I'm
Yeah,
great. Uh, I know you would think I'm great. Let's play.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this. I've gotten a lot of girls that say, "Oh, you're so cocky. You're so full of yourself." And that's one thing I like to say. Yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I accept it, and girls accept it after a while. Eric's so full of himself. He's got lots of options, and
Yeah.
it's the truth.
Yeah. Basically, you've gotten to the point where you know you have value, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just showing that. So, just for the guys out there, um, when women call you names, it's actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when women say, "Oh, you're such a nice guy. You're so sweet. You're so thoughtful." That means they're never going to sleep with you in a million years. When women say, "Oh, you're an asshole. Oh, you're a jerk. You're so full of yourself," secretly what they're saying is, "Wow, you're so confident. I'm feeling a little intimidated right now." And so I'm going to try to, kind of like shake you so you can like maybe come down a notch so I can feel like maybe I have a chance with you. So it's a compliment. So yeah, and that's because Erick knows how to show up. Erick shows up as Erick. When I met him in Vancouver, again, he's someone you can't ignore when he's in a room, and it's not because he's loud. He just, even when he's silent, you just can't ignore him. He has that powerful presence because he knows who he is, and like he just said, he doesn't apologize for it. This is who I am. I like who I am, and I don't apologize for it. And that's a very powerful attitude. And so I want to keep this. I don't want to go too long with this webinar. So let's transition to our special announcement, which is that Erick is, as I said, he's a certified coach um, now with my company, and he can teach you all this stuff. He can teach you how to be that man who you can't ignore, how to have that powerful presence when you're in a room, whether you're talking or you're just showing up, how to be playful, how to be sexual, how to talk to women in a way that's, you're not cold approaching them, but it's more natural and organic, how to have an impact on women. So when you talk to them, there's attraction generated, and when you leave, they're thinking about you. Versus the problem a lot of guys have, where you go and you talk to a woman, you don't have any impact, and you feel like the conversation was just kind of right. So he teaches guys how to impact women. All right. So if there's one guy who's going to teach you how to have a raw, powerful, sexual presence as well as just a manly presence, it's Erick. Also, his wrestling background really helps with that because he's got that inner warrior attitude. So what we have is Erick is gonna take a couple of guys and coach them one on one in California, and I'll tell us, Erick, some things that you're gonna do with the guys. What we were talking about before we hit record.
Yeah. Um, you know, I was telling Jad what I had in mind was, I there's a few things that I find very important in being a man, and one of them is taking care of yourself. And so, where I live in California, I have a lot of resources to take care of ourselves. And so, what I want to do is I want to get you in front of a styling coach. I want to get people into the gym and get them a one-on-one workout training. That way, they could, see the importance of building tone and structure and muscular, or not. We don't have to be huge, but just having definition. Show the importance of that. Going and getting your hair cut, to suit you. I know of a great hairstylist that is like a wizard with the scissors, and we can work on getting everything up to par. Then what I want to do is, after we do that, I have resources where I know we can go and have a good time and enjoy ourselves, and have live interactions with females. I know plenty of females in this area that, if need be, we can sit you down with that female, and they could, rate you or help you better yourself, help you interact with women better, tell you your strong suits. That way you can work on that when you get back to where you live. But I have all of these resources, and I just want to help you guys become, strong men. Give you my foundation. We can get down into the nitty gritty, and you can ask questions on, how would you handle this, or what do you think about this? And I can give you my experiences, which I have a lot of, and I
And
can
a
give
lot of
you my
stories.
and a lot of stories. I can give you a lot of outlook, and we can, I'm thinking 3 to 4 days of, maybe 2 to 4 days of these kind of interactions, and I definitely think you'll find them beneficial.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. So basically, all this is going to be catered to your specific personality to make everything as natural as possible. Also, Erick is going to show you how to do, how to go from the approaching mindset to the how do you just attract women versus, chasing them. How to start being that guy who can just casually bounce off people and start conversations more naturally. And yeah, these live intensives really leave you with a lifelong impact. There's nothing that can replace some live mentoring, especially with a guy who's been through it, right? So Erick will understand you wherever you're at because he started from the bottom and all the way up, and he's had the casual sexual relationships, he's had long-term relationships. He's gone through all the different struggles, whether it's confidence issues, getting over the fear of talking to women, the whole spectrum. So here's what I want you to do. And so he's in the United States. So um, one thing I want you to really, take to note is this is the first man in the history of Jati Jones company, right? Since 2011, that I trust enough to pass on my students to and say, hey, you're qualified to coach these guys, right? I'm passing them on to you, right? So I trust him because he's that above and beyond, and he's the real deal. And just like I care about you, I saw when he was in Vancouver, he can't help. He's a big tough guy with a huge heart, and he can't help but help. He was helping the guys like nonstop. I was just like, wow. So if you want someone that you're gonna feel is like a big brother that's gonna embrace you and just have that relationship, Erick's the guy. And one thing I pride myself on is that my company will never be that company where you go to a live workshop or an online workshop and you feel like just a number, like they're just taking your money and they don't care about you. No, 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 no. We will never do that. So if you want people who care about you, genuinely want to see you succeed, then we're here for you. So what you can do if you want to have a live intensive with Erick in California, contact me to support. The email is support@jadtjones.com. Okay? Support@jadtjones.com. And then just write something like live intensive with Erick, coaching with Erick. And then we'll give you more details. We'll set you up and we'll do everything in our power to get you unstuck so that you can start living the life you deserve, because you do deserve women in your life, right? And if you've been struggling for a while, now's the time, man. There's no time like the present. You got to make a move. So anything else I missed, Erick? Or?
No, you got it all. And that is one thing about my personality is I care. I want to be the big brother. I want to help. I didn't have that, so that's something I want to pass down, and that's something I want to help. My fellow man. We all have a goal, and we're here, and I believe we're all here with good intentions. And so if you are coming with that pure intention of leaving women better than you found them, I want to help you in any way I can. So I feel like this would be the best opportunity for you.
Okay, great. All right, so good talk. Thank you for your time, Erick, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jad.
All right, brother. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.